Hey guys, this is Gene Jensen. I want to show you how I have my new on the market Jackson Mayfly rigged up for river fishing. The reason I've got this thing rigged up for river fishing is I'm actually going to enter my very first KBF tournament this next week. I've fished rivers, creeks my whole entire life, just trout fishing. You know, my legs in the water, going around and just catching trout. And so I know how to read the rivers. I'm just not very good at navigating them. So that's something that's going to be totally new to me. I'm going to videotape it while I'm doing it, so you guys will be able to see it. But let's go through my Mayfly from front to back and talk about how I have it rigged up, and then show you some of the features that the Mayfly has that I think is really good for bass fishing. It was designed for fly fishing, but I've turned it into a bass fishing rig. So let's see what it looks like. My first impressions with the rideability and the ride of the Mayfly is the biggest and most surprising thing was the speed. This boat is fast, faster than the big rig, not as fast as the Cuda HD, but a fast boat, nice smooth boat. It's one of those that when you stop paddling, it just keeps on going. It's really, really stable. It's almost as stable as the big rig, not quite, but you really, unless you're in them a lot, you really don't notice the difference. And the maneuverability is just, it's great. I think it'll work just fine in those class 1, class 2 rapids. I don't think I'm gonna have an issue with it. It does ride lower to the ground. It's got a smaller or shorter gunnel than especially the big rig, but it actually helps it to track in the wind better. I had it in 20 to 25 mile an hour winds the first time I had it out, and it really did, you could notice the difference. You could notice that it did not catch the wind nearly as bad as some of the bigger and the taller kayaks. To start off with, let's start with my anchor. I put an anchor up in the front. I've got a bungee cord right here, mainly because as the current pushes and pulls me, it has a little bit of give. Put a nice heavy duty carabiner, and I'm using a 10 foot, I'm using a 10-pound kettlebell. I'd like to have a lighter one, like a 5 or an 8 pound, but I think 10 pounds is gonna work just fine. It's attached to some paracord, and then all the way down here is my anchor Wizzard. So what the anchor Wizzard basically is you just loosen it up. It's kind of like a drag. You loosen it up and the anchor falls. And then when you want to crank it back up, you just crank it up and it stays just like that. So that's going to be totally important when I'm fishing those rivers and I want to turn upstream to fish. After the anchor, we have a front hatch right here. And the thing I like about this front hatch that they haven't had before is it has a little pull-out tray. Okay, and what that pull-out tray does is it keeps this stuff pretty much fairly dry. It's those things that you just kind of want to get to quick, and you don't want to have to dig down in your boat or to get it. And it drops in right here, but you can still access and store stuff inside your boat. Nice little latches. You got gear track up here. I might just put a camera or a third view of a camera up here. Another thing you might do is put a tie down up here so you can run your rope up to your anchor. Going back, of course, you have the stand assist strap. I have right here a YakAttack panfish portrait. This is where I put my main camera. I'll attach my microphone to it and everything else. Camera mounts up here. Right now I have a 1/4-20 mount, a ram ball 1/4-20 mount for my DSLR and my other cameras, but a lot of times I have a GoPro mount right there. And this is what I really love. I worked hard on this. This is what I probably worked 4 or 5 hours on this trying to figure out how I was going to do it. But what I've got here is I've got my fish finder. This is a Garmin Striker 7 SV, I believe. Just a good well-priced fish finder. I didn't want to spend too much money on a fish finder for a kayak, and I really didn't think I needed all the bells and whistles. But I picked this one up. But what I love about this is because it's a fly fishing kayak, they made it to where nothing is snaggable inside the middle of the boat and under your feet. So the foot pedals, the footrests, slide up and down, and what's cool is it's hollow underneath. And so I have hidden all of my electronics underneath the footrest. In here I've got my transducer that comes in through the scupper hole. I've got all the wires and stuff wrapped in right here, and I have the battery pack underneath here, and it all comes right out, so it's all self-contained. Let me show you real quick. Okay, so basically you remove 2 screws, these little knobs right here, and this thing comes right off. And underneath here I have all the cable wrapped up, I have my battery, everything is self-contained, it goes right in just like that. It's real easy to get to, easy to take things out. And the cool thing, one of the things I did with the transducer is I kind of made my own little thing. I took the parts and pieces that came with the fish finder. This is the plate that goes on the back of a boat. I used it to hold my fish finder up against there, and I'll do a separate video one day about how I mounted it. It's kind of pretty cool, but I use a bungee strap to hold everything tight. Real easy to tie this line together, get it out of the way. And I'm just proud of it. I worked really hard on this, so it's really nice to see it actually work. Real simple. Take everything, tuck it in underneath. Screw the knobs back down and you're good to go. Right here we have on both sides, you have a little fold out. It's made to hold a fly box. But what I like it for is I'm going to store my tools in there, like my extra pair of pliers. If I gut hook a fish, I have a special pair of pliers I use to get the hooked fish out. And it just right there out of the way, nothing to snag. Like I said, there's one on the other side, but it's got plenty of deck space, lots of room to move around, and it's so stable, you really can pivot and move your feet around a whole lot, taking a step back to set the hook on a fish when you're jig fishing, anything like that. Absolutely love it. The seat itself is adjustable. You can slide it forward and slide it backwards. I have it kind of halfway right now. You got the little lumbar support thing, which I use sometimes. Sometimes I take it off. So up front, what we have is we have two rod holders or two tip protectors. And I don't like to store one on this side when I have my anchor set up, just because there's just too much to get snagged, and that anchor weighs 10 pounds. But I've got one over here on the other side, and I've got it over here on the tucked into the roto grip. Slides real easily out of the tube and slides right back in and sits right in that roto grip real easy. And that's actually a paddle holder, but it works really good for your rod storage. On the back of the seat, this is one of the things that comes with the kayak. It has a little hydration system, little 1.5 liter hydration pouch that goes into a little pouch that's behind there. I love it because it gives you a reason to drink. When those Camelbacks first came out when I was in the Army, we loved them because we didn't always have to dig our bottle of water or our canteen out of our canteen bag. And it's the same thing. It just makes it easier to drink, gives you an easier reason to stay hydrated. Nice little, mostly waterproof container in the back. I usually keep food or anything in the back of there. I absolutely love these things. I wish they had them on every single one of the Jackson kayaks. I got my hog trough, of course. Brand new, just lined up. You know, just barely took a Sharpie to it. Got my little logo in the middle, little floater. I guess this is a cheap version. I figure if I drop it in the water, I'll be able to at least catch it before it goes under. So there's plenty of room back here. This is where I'm going to keep my camera gear so I can get to it easily. A lot of people, you know, would keep like soft plastic boxes and things like that, but because I switch out batteries so much, that's where I'm going to keep my camera gear. Got this little retractable thing from YakAttack. It's what I keep extra pliers and scissors and stuff. Real easy to reach behind me and grab. Now, one of the things I changed on the Mayfly is, like I said, this was made for fly fishing. And so what it used to have is, it used to have this little attachment right here. And this attachment would screw down right there, and it was made to hold your fly rod. Fly rod would go in the front tube, go all the way down. The reel would sit right here in this little rounded thing, and it would strap in right there. I took that off, and luckily, the hole's perfectly lined up for this ram mount, so I can put my rod holders right here. This isn't really my rod holder. This is where I'm going to keep my net, my landing net, so I can easily reach back and grab it when I'm fighting a fish. And on the other side is where I put my back camera, my other GoPro. I was excited when I found out that those things were lined up perfectly, because they have metal inserts that you screw into, just a lot more stable. Next is my black pack. Not a whole lot to it. It's a black pack. The only thing I don't like about this box, and I said this on my last kayak tour video, is that my Bass Mafia boxes, my big red ones, they don't fit in here very well. So with this one, as soon as I'm done with this video, I'm taking a Dremel tool and I'm going to cut the outside or inside of these out just a little bit to widen them up. I saw a guy who did it a few weeks ago. He did it really nice and clean, and it looked really good. So I'm going to do the same thing he did. We got 3 rod holders in the back. I'm not too fond of having my rods straight up and down. it's something I'm gonna either have to get used to or figure out how I can slant them. I kind of want them slanted back away from me so I can get some good back casts without hitting my rods. It's something I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. All right, and so what I did right here is I actually made some rod leashes. Got on Amazon, ordered some of these big cheap carabiners, got some shock cord, some heat shrink for the ends, and then this side right here is just a small little clip that clips onto the bungee. And real simple. I made them this big so they just go around the rod just like that, and so if I ever was to turtle on the river, I'd save my rods. I'd be able to find them. And they pretty much stay out of the way. I just sling them off to the side, they sling out of the way. I have one on each rod, and so far I haven't needed them, but if I need them, they're already there, so it's pretty nice. Then we go to the back hatch. This does not have an insert like the front hatch does, but you can at least get stuff in there. It's got a little bit of room. It's got a piece of foam right there, but a little bit of room back there so you can be able to store stuff. And if and when I do an overnighter, this one's going to have enough storage for me to at least get my my ultralight backpacking stuff into and make it real easy. Then last but not least, on the back end, I got the Power Pole Micro. It's pretty self-explanatory. This is the battery-powered one. My Hobie had electrical wire that ran all the way to the front of the boat into some batteries. This battery pack makes it 10 times easier. Now let's go around the other side. I'm gonna run down the other side and talk about some of the things that I have on that side that you guys don't see on this side. Real simple, not a whole lot of things over here. I have my fish grip on this side, and it's on another one of those little retractors. And this really comes in handy when you've got to either calm down a fish or want to just put a fish off to the side. Fish grips go right down in there and just drop the fish in the water. It's like a handy live well type deal. One of the things I forgot to mention about under the seat, this seat is going to take me a little bit of getting used to. It doesn't sit as high as the big rig, mainly because it's not as high as a big rig. It's a shallower boat. But I can fit 2 or 3 3700 boxes underneath the seat, and then underneath both sides, this side and this side, is a pouch to hold some 3600 tackle boxes. Plenty of tackle storage, really easy to get to. That's why another one of the reasons why this is one of my favorite seats. Well guys, I have absolutely fallen in love with this kayak faster than I have any other boat that I've ever fished out of, really. It fits my style. I absolutely enjoy fishing out of it. I'm sure I'll change the setup, and as I change the setup, I'll let you know and I'll make a video about it. But right now I have a setup for river fishing. I can't wait to fish my tournament in it next week and see how I do. I'll probably bomb, but it's gonna be a whole lot of fun. Well, like I always say, be sure to introduce somebody to fishing. Introduce them to my channel. Let me help you teach them how to fish. More importantly, get out on the water, go out and catch some fish. Have a great day.